Hey everyone, so far we have learned about variables and data types. Now it's time to perform operations on those values using operators. Operators are special symbols that allow us to perform different kinds of operations like addition, comparison, assigning values, and checking conditions and much more. Let's look at the most important operators one by one. So first we have arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform mathematical calculation, which are addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So let's look at some examples. So here are the basic mathematical operation, which is addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. So output for the first console will be 13, then we have 7, then we have 3.33 and 30. And if we run this program, then we get the output. Apart from these basic operators, we have other operators like modulo, which is represented by this percent sign. So modulus operator returns the remainder after division. So for example, we have used modulo operator in this example. So the output for this will be 1 because 10 divided by 3 leaves a remainder 1. And we also have another operator, which is exponent operator, which is represented by this sign. So it returns the numeric result of raising the first operand to the power of the second operand. So for example, we have 2 raised to power 3, which means it will have the output as 8. So if we run this program, then we will get the output as 8. So these were the important arithmetic operators. Now let's move on to assignment operator. Assignment operators are used to assign or update values in variable. So this is the assignment operator. We have assigned value 10 to our variable. We also have shorthand assignment operator. So for example, if I do score, so this is one of the shorthand assignment operator, which is nothing, just syntactical sugar for score equal to score plus 5. This is the another example of shorthand assignment operator, which means score equal to score minus 5. Let's take one other example, which means score equal to score into 5. So these were some of the shorthand assignment operators. Now let's move on to the next operator, which is comparison operator. Comparison operator compares two values and always return a Boolean value, either true or false. So comparison operator includes greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. So let's see example for these. So in the first example, we have 5 greater than 3, which will return true. Then we have 5 less than 3, which will return false. Then we have 5 greater than equal to 5, which will also return true. Then we have equality operator, which will return true. So in this example, we are comparing int 5 with string 5. So you might think that this will return false because the data type of these variables are different, but two equal signs are considered as loose equality, which means that it converts the value to the same type before converting them, and hence we will get the result as true. But in case of three equality sign, it is called strict equality because it compares both the values and data types, and hence we will get the result as false because the data type for our example are not same, and hence we will get false. It is always recommended to use strict equality symbol to avoid any type conversions. And next we have logical operator. So logical operators are used to combine multiple conditions to get single Boolean result, which is true or false. So before we move on to the logical operators, let's understand truthy and falsy value. So let's start with falsy value. So falsy values are those which translates to false. Below are the list of the falsy value in JavaScript, which are false, 0, empty quotes, null, undefined, and nan, which means not a number. So apart from these values, all other values are considered as truthy value. So truthy values are those which translates to true. And now let's talk about the logical operators, which are and, or, and not. So let's start with AND operator. AND operator returns true only if both the conditions are true. So the first example, it will return true because both the values are true. But in case of second value, as we have false, then it will return false. Next we have OR operator, which means it returns true if at least one condition is true. So in this first example, we have at least one value true, so it will return true. But in second example, we don't have any true, so it will return false. And next we have NOT operator. NOT operator simply reverses the Boolean value. For example, since the value is true, so it will be reversed to false. But in second example, we have false, then it will be reversed to true. We also have the concept of short circuiting. So logical operators don't always evaluate everything. For example, in the case of AND, JavaScript stops as soon as it finds the first false value. In our example, since we found the false value, then this expression will return false. But instead of false, if we had it true, then it would have evaluated the second expression, which is hello, then it will print hello. Now you can see the console, the first value is false and second is hello. Similarly, for the OR operator, we stop as soon as we find the first truthy value. In this example, since we have found the truthy value as the first argument, so we won't evaluate the second expression and it will print hello. But in the second example, since first value is not truthy value, then we will evaluate the second expression and thus we will get the output as false. And if I run this code, I get hello and false. So this is the concept of short circuiting. Now next operator we have is ternary operator. So it is short way of writing if-else statement. So this is the syntax of our ternary operator, which is first condition, and if the condition is true, then first expression returns, else we return the second expression. Let's see this with an example. For example, we have age 20. So this is our ternary operator. Since this condition is true because 20 is greater than or equal to 20, then this expression will be assigned to type, else if it was less than or equal to 18, then this value would have assigned to type. The next operator we have Nullish Coalescing operator. So this operator provides default value only when the left side is null or undefined. In this example, since the user is null, so that's why the default value guessed will be assigned. If it was undefined, then also the default value would have assigned. And apart from null and undefined, if there was something else, then that value would have assigned to this particular expression. But if you remember that the OR operator also performs similar action, the only difference between these operators is that OR operator treats every falsy value as missing, which means whenever we evaluate the expression containing the falsy value, then the fallback value is returned. But in case of the nullish coalescing operator, we only check for the null and undefined. We don't consider other falsy values, which is zeros, double quotes, or not a number. So these are not considered. So apart from the operators, we have the concept of coercion, which means that converting one data type into another. There are two types of coercion operator, which is implicit and explicit. So in case of implicit coercion, JavaScript automatically converts the value. For example, we have one string and number, but JavaScript automatically converts the number into string and we will get the output as 52. If we run this code, then we will get the output as 52. But if it was the minus operator, then it would return as 3, which means the string data type will be converted into number and we will get the output as 3. So this is the implicit coercion. So in case of the explicit coercion, we explicitly convert the values ourselves. So in this example, we are converting the string 1 to 3 into number, which will return us the number. And similarly, we can also convert the number to string. So this is called the explicit coercion. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.